Yo, so I'm going to show you how to pull some spark plugs out of a 4-cylinder engine. This one's pretty nice. I don't have to remove the cowl and everything. You're going to pull the coil-on plugs out, and then you're going to look down inside the bore for any oil, get a blowgun, blow any contaminants. I'll show that on video now, and then I'll get back to talking more. Whenever I'm pulling out coils, I always like to mark them, from the front of the engine back, and I always mark them like 1, 2, 3, and then obviously 4 has no markings at all. You're going to disconnect the electrical connectors. Simply, sometimes if you push it in and then kind of press the button that releases them, it helps. If you're pulling and you try pushing that button, it doesn't always work. I like to push towards the coil, give it a squeeze, ooh, it's hot, and then pops right off. Beauty. There we go. I don't recommend using a pry bar to ever get these out. You could definitely break them, and then you're like not making any money on the repair. That's what inside the engine looks like, or at least underneath the coil-on plugs. See the spark plug way down there? It's looking like there's no contaminants or anything really down there, which is good. I'm still going to give it a shot of air all along the top of the valve cover and then inside the actual bore too. You just don't want any sand or anything getting into the engine, obviously. Sand in your engine would score up your cylinder walls. You probably get like a bunch of oil leakage. Bearings would get destroyed. It'd figure a way to get into your engine oil, destroy some bearings. I'm going to blow out that engine bay first. Nice long blowgun. Really helps the system. I'll go do that now. Let's call my dog. Alright, got the blowgun here. So this is a sweet kit that Mako sells. I'm pretty sure OTC sells it, Snap-on sells it. I don't really care. You get one. It's nice, alright? Look at that. Comes with extensions, wobbles, magnets. It's great. Today, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need this guy here. How's that look on the camera? Oh, I'm going to zoom in on the action. Let's just start pulling them. Do a visual inspection of the plug afterwards. Focus. So as you can see, this plug's got a little bit of black, a little bit of white, a little bit of fuzzies. The car has 200,000, so it is time. Iridiums are just so awesome. They last forever. Cool. Alright, let's pull a few more out. I'm going to time lapse this. They're all pretty burnt up. for the car. They're Toyota genuine. I always like to use fairly decent parts, and unless it's like an older car and it's got, you know, a bunch of suspension components damaged, instead of hosing a customer for like $3,000 for their $1,500 car, I'll only hose them like $1,500 for the $1,500 car. But if you see there, I do a little research. Iridium. I'm pretty sure these Denso Iridiums, you're not supposed to gap. They come pre-gapped. I was reading in a forum somewhere. I think that's what it means. 43 thousandths? I don't know. I'm Canadian, man. I don't use this stuff that often, so I just ripped my finger open. Oh, it hurt. I wish it would zoom for you. Gosh darn. Oh boy. Did I just drip into my coffee cup? Ew! Alright, I gotta address this shit quick. 1 second. Okay, we Gucci fam. It's gonna keep leaking. It's gonna keep bleeding. Either I can stop and cry about it and keep wiping it, or I can powerhouse through and get her done. Yeah. Like a little scratch, really. I shouldn't even be crying. That finger's bugging me quite a bit, actually, but the price you pay for being beast, you know? There it is there. So we got a nice feeler gauge set. A little Matco action going on there. So we got 1,000th. What do we got back here? Maybe we got 70. What? Oh, millimeters. You gotta be shitting me. It's all in millimeters. Alright, quick maths. I figured it out. It's 1.1 millimeters, or like 43 hundredths or thousandths of an inch. Check it out. So we got 1, and then we also got 1. Put those together. Let's do a little gap. You see the gap between the electrode and this top thing? I don't even know what you want to call it. We're going to try and fit that in there. It's saying no way, Bob. What if we just do 100? Yeah, those are pre-gapped. So that one's good. What do we got here? It's good. Beauty. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, god dang. I like to shoot air into the cylinder, just in case. Right. So I like to start them off by hand, snug them up if you can by hand, and then I believe the torque spec on these was something rather like 19 inch-pounds or something like that. I don't know, I've been doing it long enough where I just kind of give her one little shot and it never fails me. With that said, this will be the first one to fail. we got the plugs back in. Into that cylinder, that cylinder, that cylinder, and that cylinder. Now I'm going to put the coil-on plugs, or cops, whatever you want to call them, back in top. And then after that, I'm going to check the engine oil, just to make sure. Give her a fire up, see how it runs, see if there's any knock-ins, see if there's any misfires. And you know what? That's how you do spark plugs, everyone. Real cheap. Real simple. Cop 1. Boop! Up, up, up! I like putting dielectric compound on every single coil-on plug I do, because I hate fretting, or whatever you want to call it. Not fretting, carbon tracking. It is my least favorite thing to deal with. You just want an engine to fire on all 8 or all 4 or all 6 or whatever it may be, and it just doesn't sometimes when you're under huge load, because it carbon tracks and goes down the path of least resistance. Okay? Okay. I found it. Dielectric grease. So I'll show you quick what that looks like. Good boy. Came back. Just a quick thing here. I'm gonna put the bolts back into the coil-on plugs. Tighten those up to 18 Newton meters. Have at her, boys. You get the fuel mileage back. Every Toyota tech's looking at me right now going, ah! And that's okay. Plug all the connectors back in. These are 4-wire connectors, pretty wild. Good stuff. Good stuff. That's alright, the car seems to be idling nice. I'm going to take it for a road test. I can't really videotape this part. I don't know what the rules are on YouTube yet about recording and driving. I'm kind of soloing it today. But for sure, I'm going to go road test this, and it's going to be A-okay. Maybe patch up my thumb while I'm at it. When I flip this camera back on, there's going to be a Honda Civic here, and I don't know how, but we got to get that Focus out of the garage. When I say we, I mean me, and I'm not going crazy. I just talking to a camera all by myself in my garage. It's good times. Alright, we'll regroup in like 20. Love you all.